Said to wait till the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, fine. Rinpoche. Okay. Yeah. I did that before I did that.
This too. Yeah, this is mounts. And this is steps that out. Yeah, unless you don't want to sit up. If you don't want to sit up front, then you can sit here. Yeah, and then have the steps. Whichever you want. Yeah. You don't want to go. We're getting ready. Even to sit up. You don't want them to sit up. What's going to happen?
put my cell phone on the chair.
Of course not. No, of course
Thank you.
not. Oh, we're doing this now. Goodness gracious.
Everybody new today, no right after this.
Bye.
아호. 주로는 뭐 좋게 되네. 들은 고막가루 광을 이렇게 다 슬라방 보이거래. 광만 보이거래. 제가 강럽 강들 제가 대통 봐서 이 새끼 강을 깜빡 강을 봐라. 이 새끼 강을 봐. 들들 사대야 강을 봐. 손을 들 텔레티니. 들 취약 강을 봐. 손. 들 텔레티니. 들 탁만 보고 사만 보고 사요래. 이렇게 가능하더니 하다 결정 어제가 더 마소 이 사진 남지 시라 이 니말로 저렇게 되더니 그런 니마지로 저 동하고 모이고래 이렇게 있었다 왔더니 라한게 서집을 빨았더니 근데 사방 붙어요 다시 나뉘지 또 지보라고 전에더니 기대를 이렇게 보면 님보라고 속고요 또 제 가르쳐서 뭐 요리 때는 적지 좀 많이라 시합거나 축구 염치고 로그도 되다 좀마 축구 좀 많아서 이렇게다 또 축구 염치고 그래 다니다
So this morning, my Dharma friends, we will receive the empowerment of White Tara. And in general, there are many deities, there are many empowerments. And the Buddha taught the Dharma according to the specific needs of sentient beings. And there are limitless sentient beings. And then likewise, there are limitless less kalpas, and they have taught limitless Dharma. And as a result of that, there is a great variety of different practices and deities that appear. But it is one taste that appears as a diversity. The omniscient wisdom of the Buddha manifests in many different ways. It is just like the sun, one sun has thousands of sun rays that appear according to the needs of sentient beings. And so for that reason there are the various different deities. And so amongst these many deities, the principal deities that sort of hold the essence are Chinrezig and Tara. And Tara, her nature is the nature of wisdom. The Dharmakaya form is the great Dharmakaya mother. Then the Sambhogakaya form is Vajrayogini, and the Nirmanakaya form is Taram. And of this, the principal one is the Dharmakaya Great Mother.
내가 들리지 다다 보통 그게다 내가 지금 모람 막시를 놓으시기요래 뒤지는 송어와래 그래 사지 통치의 독핑지 기를 봐 기네 오바메 사지 오바메레스 그래 자와를 나니 나니더니 노속은 나와서 그래 죽어 오바메에서 그래 사이에서는 저기 기내서 기내서 세와자 양pro 기내서 세와자 사용 모델을 프로마데 양pro 프로마 세와 탑자지에서 데이터들이 독여들을 좀 배만도 양pro 오딘 세와 탑자지에서 데이터가 데이터들이 특도성이 요래 그래서 세와 탑자 책이요 말에甚至그 장당냐바거든요 사제를 좀 봐 요래 데 가래는 싸마더니 이게 토니 동답그 대바든 심지가 유라 심지 탐지가 심지 유들이 사지가 저에 대그 라우에서 뭐들이 다다 다고차네 더다 통제를 다고차 추거래 롱거들이 장당냐바 심지가 장당냐바 그 바디 용토그요래 대 종화들이 맛이다 고추요 말이에요. 변이랑 그 마통을 요나 로아들이 맨통통고요 말이에요. 좀 돼서 답을 출렸들이 사제기 어디 하마오는 되고 하고 말이에요. 그 답을 출렸더니 사제기 어디 하거나 사제 것은 용디 하거나 오 다당 무슨 마답을 갖고 들자들라 답고 차리들이 답고 줄이들이 사대 무슨 요리 대양을 마다슬라 송들 생기에 토를 드는 게 아침 보여가 대야 고아차나 들이 sep지가 당장이야 봐 초고요래 이제 토를 저기 말라 남주 손이들이 다 마다 니오베 가서 심지마다 발라 들이 타고차 들이 다 로가다 저거 들다고 방들이 요래서 대다고 고아도 차나 들이 로로를 차고 요래
So most of you are familiar with the aspiration prayer of Sukhavati of Devachen, and now in there it says that how Tara appears as an emanation of the Buddha Amitabha. So in the prayer it says that there is this Pure Land in the western direction, where the Buddha Amitabha resides. And the Buddha Amitabha, who is one of the 100 emanations, the 100 Buddhas. The Dharmakaya is the Buddha Amitabha, and so he appears in this Pure Land of Dewachen, and then from his right hand, it is said, 1 billion Chinrezig emanations manifest, and from his left hand, 1 billion Tara emanations manifest, and then again from his heart, 1 billion Padmasambhava emanations manifest. And then these manifestations, the Nirmanakaya manifestations, then appear as many as there are sentient beings in order to benefit sentient beings. And still, however many appear, on the basis, there is no separation from sentient beings. On the ultimate level, all sentient beings possess the cause of enlightenment. And now that is their Buddha nature. And so from that, actually those Buddhas arise from that basis, from that Buddha nature basis, as a pure aspect of that basis. And so then from a temporary perspective, there are those to be tamed and those who tame of pure and impure aspects. And the Dharmakaya and the Sambhogakaya are the pure aspects that appear to the impure sentient beings in the form of Nirmanakayas. And so it is important to understand this connection, because only then really there will be a benefit from also receiving the empowerment. And so there are, for example, it is just like if you have a child, if there's a child and its mother, and even though the mother is actually there, if the child is unable to, has no eyes, or is unable to receive the milk from the mother, it won't drink. So just the presence, then just the presence of the deity itself is also not sufficient if we don't understand the deities or the Buddha's qualities. And so the qualities is that the pure aspect of the deity, the Sambhogakaya form, appears to the impure aspect, which are the sentient beings to be tamed. And they appear in the form of the pure illusory body, in the form of the deity. So actually, on the ultimate level, on the basis of the mind, those to be tamed, those practitioners and the deity are actually indivisible. So there is a connection. They're interconnected, and that's important to understand. And so if you understand that, you can also understand how the Nirmanakayas appear to sentient beings, however many sentient beings there are. And it is because on the basis, they all are actually one. And on the path, temporarily, there is the appearance of both pure and impure. And so to the temporarily impure sentient beings, the Sambhogakayas and the Nirmanakayas appear in order to tame sentient beings. So if you understand this, this relation, this connection, then your mind will become much more relaxed.
say zook the may naval and may kala sagwa and mother chipachi junction and paper yore. Belong to the Java Tomji Chibana, mire, Miss Lekaka Chili, Chikota, Zambility, the book make say, Gosho, Sipti Tabila, Shirakawa Nan, Lampung, Lamna, Zambility Chetapu, Michiple. Data was a chipati, or took it, but not there. Then took it, but non same carried, non same carried, non same the Sanjiri, so something married. Or Sanjir Sipti, Chipper carried, also Sipti, Tamsi, 다 지금 나 조이 가드는 다 지지가 로테 대 숙식고요. 내가 대세의 자로로 차로네. 고소 사적서 받아 비르더니 다지 이요 말이 sep기들아 당시 가서 sep기 말이 언제고도 로브를 그렇지만 다지의 유모부에 잡네. 이 차로로 차대요. 내라고 이 삼바된 길길이 뛰는다. 고도 셔터 버려요. 해서 텔레티네들이 저게 많이 주요 콜로데 규스점지 상지 시바데 주요 콜로 콜 주시 바데들이 주기 정보 삼제데 데이터들이 똑같이 세메 속지 봐야 봐라들이 낭샘 가까이 봐. 이 텔레티네 다티 빼점 야당 진짜 말이야. 도물리들이 강리들이 포능계기나 기레들 그 봐야지. 모능계기 집대로 그 봐야지. 대라 상노도 이 잠발은 가사카도 로지토니 망바 옛나 메나 이 버지게 생긴 탐제를 피바도 되게 사와랍 제보 산비 가고 사와도 좀 주시 가고서 기내들 줄 바래서 생각서 하고 또 보여요. 뭐저게 대다वर 잡을나요 피바도 되게 사와도 좀 어떻게 제대로 좀 바래서 하고 또 보여요. 대하고는 들이 다다 가서 소속하고 대레나 집들 너무 냠설인 거잖아. 아래 집들 너무 이미지 다지 이피로에 제발에 오 소소라나들이 이피를 녹촉해 보지는 아 집들도 막 무서워해서 부모나 버지는 오나 이피를 녹내 촉해 보대. 나 다지도 파역들은 마기네들 좀 안가면 에 기네들 제발때 사지도 습지지 제발때 나 지지를 놓대 이피로 제발에 라린 소비면 나서 말인데 좁고 상지 집이 셈을 정도에 말이 다 되도록 용성 내가 뒤에들이 포탑지 기내들을 멘트봐 모탑지 집들 로만 멘트봐 마미바 민지 왕시바들 책직거야 민지 왕성거요 마미베 세리데 마미베 세리가 다지데 민지 왕사바탄 얘기를 되네 이 처럼 되잖아 잡치쳐도 빠차지 미 마미 초당차로 제발해서 어떤 다 답이치지 왔다 문제래 어떻게 배받을 때와 무슨 좋아 그리고 저다라는 게저 생năng 거나 다니 왕실의 팽가도 사고는 팽가도 자라더니 힘핑으로래 차서 들이 하고 특별히 데르지는 들이 저기는 걸 로지 남사망고 들이 그 탐체니 요래서
So Tara is the Manakaya and the Manakaya appearing in this world. Actually appearing, for example, in this human world as a human being. Or for example, an Nirmanakaya was the Buddha Shakyamuni, and then the Bodhisattvas such as Chenrezig and Manjushri and so on, who appeared in the manner of receiving teachings of the Buddha. So they emanate in this world. So emanate, also this term, means that within their mind, they actually are already Buddhas. But then, even though they are Buddhas, on the outer level, they emanate in the form of, for example, a human being. And appearing as a human being, they engage in the activities of humans. And so they appear to be very, very similar. They need to eat food and so on, just like everybody else. For example, someone like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he's a human being on the outer level. But then what kind of things does he do in this world? In this entire world, he is just one person who is able to open up the eyes of many sentient beings, awakening them from their ignorance and introducing them to the nature of wisdom. He is one person who can guide them on the path, who can show them the path. And so even though on the outer level he appears to be a human being, within his mind is different than an ordinary human being. His mind really is the Buddha. So what's the difference between Buddhas and sentient beings? Sentient beings have a concept of a self. They believe in the existence of an I, an existing I. And due to that, the I, the self, is always most important. So sentient beings are mostly concerned about themselves. And that self-cherishing mind is very powerful, and it makes their mind become solid like a block of ice. And the bodhisattvas, on the other hand, to the bodhisattvas, there is no duality of self and other. The bodhisattvas have realized that sentient beings all have the same mind, and they only are obscured by adventitious stains. And these are the stains of self-grasping and the afflictive emotions. And that is what makes their mind be like an ice block temporarily. But because it is just an ice block, it is easy because an ice block can be melted. And they have understood that the ice block is melted by love and compassion. And so with that knowledge, the Buddhas of the three times have turned the wheel of Dharma extensively, teaching the twofold truth. The essence of all these Dharma teachings is love and compassion. And so for that purpose, they have appeared as Nirmanakayas in the human world, for example, appearing as human beings, but their mind being actual Buddhas. For example, someone like His Dalai Lama. But that's just one example. Actually, we can say that any male who is compassionate can said to be an emanation of Chenrezig. And any female that has compassion can said to be an emanation of Tara. And so when you think about it from that perspective, you can see that all over the world throughout history, many emanations have appeared, and that those beings not necessarily have to be Buddhists, actually. Actually, any male person, for example, who engages in activities that bring about the benefit and happiness of the people, that are activities that bring benefits to beings, whether they are worldly activities or Dharma activities, such a person can really said to be an emanation of Chenrezig. And likewise, any female who engages in activities that bring about benefit and happiness to sentient beings is really an emanation of Tara. And so if you understand that, then you can also apply that to yourself and think that now I am receiving the empowerment of Tara. I am going to practice Tara. And the difference between Tara and an ordinary being is that of having or not having altruism. Ordinary beings grasp at the self. Tara has an altruistic mind. So if I myself today give rise to an altruistic mind wishing for the benefit of others, then I actually am Tara. So that is how like a female, for example, would think. Or if you're male, then you can think, if I today give rise to altruism and let go of self-grasping, then I really am Chenrezig. So the difference between an ordinary being and Tara or Chenrezig is that ordinary beings grasp at a self, and the deity has a perfect altruistic mind. In the 37 Bodhisattva practices, it says, all suffering without exception comes from wishing for one's own happiness. The perfect Buddhas arise from the altruistic mind. And now then, in order to to ripen the mind stream to that nature, we receive the empowerment. So when males ripen, they ripen into Chenrezig, and females ripen into Tara. And so to ripen what is unripe, we receive the empowerment. And that is why the empowerment is also referred to as the ripening empowerment. So what is it that makes us be unripe? The mind of sentient beings is not ripened because of grasping. And through the ripening empowerment and love and compassion, we can melt this ice block. And when it melts, then it merges to be one with the ocean water. So that is the only difference. It is a difference between ice and water, or altruism and a self-cherishing mind. If you understand that, then you really understand the benefit of receiving the empowerment. Then you will see that if I receive this empowerment and if I practice the deity, it will be of great benefit. And the essence of all practice of the empowerment is this altruistic mind. And that is the essence of Taram. And so regarding Taram, there are various historical backgrounds that explain her history. They are explained differently according to the various classes of Tantra.
Tata char rumlo ju siro hoje. Kaya siro rumang mabru siro ya ore.
So then I will read the history of this empowerment of our Tara. In general, all Taras are same in essential nature. In particular, Tara is identical with the protector Amitayus' consort Pandaravasini, the white robe. According to the deliverance of Tara and the Tantra of Tara's various arising enlightened activities, the life-expanding goddess White Tara is endowed with increasing enlightened activity. Depending on the realization of ransoming of death, there are various Indian scriptures that account of great masters, such as the Indian Acharya Vagishwaram, who attained the state of Avidyadhara with power over life, or the Buddha Nagarjuna, who engaged in the practice of this Yidam deity. In Tibet, it flourished greatly in the Kadamba lineage stemming from Atisha. To the peerless Gampopa, bad omens of short lifespan manifested. After receiving this White Tara practice from Geshe Rinpoche, he lived to the age of 88. Many Kagyu lamas attained siddhis practicing Tara, such as Je Dusum Khenpa, the first Karma Bhatt, who practiced Tara as his main Yidam deity. Gyalwang Rinchen Puntsok, a master of this practice lineage, attained ordinary and supreme siddhis, depending on the practice of this sublime deity and on the instructions of the supreme wish-fulfilling jewel. This death-defying tantra belongs to the great mother of the lotus family of the Akshino-Kriya Tantra. The actual tantra is also practiced in the highest or Anuttara Yoga Tantra. Through only recalling Tara's name, the 5 contingent deeds and similar actions will be purified. Untimely death will be conquered and the suffering of the lower realms will be pacified. This practice thus bears boundless benefits. Vagishvara said, Brahma, Vishnu, the sun and moon, wrathful protectors and desire gods, cannot scare the Lord of Death, but Tara conquers even him.
Om Baba Baba Samaya Maya Sambara
And the root of all suffering of sentient beings, limitless space, is self-grasping, and there are limitless sentient beings. So now bring to mind this entire limitless universe and all the limitless sentient beings, and gather all the self-grasping into one. And then think that all this self-grasping is offered up to the Buddhas abiding in space, and think that in return they grant the precious bodhicitta, which then falls down like raindrops, and all beings then are permeated by the precious bodhicitta. So think in this way when we offer a mandala.
Belja también da probación de pena que du botsigla to bapana que du bate que du bate tu sub de saje tamje wo zo sun de yo sa pro gore 아 마양 때문에 잡아볼 때 됐다 tu sub de de 사je 쳐다 내도 좀 잡나게들이 말아 메가 그 오사 데 프로발로 되게 tu sub de control sobre la pro 용 소름 타고 요래 대부분이 아다다 게리버 찍라 게리버 참아라더니 그래서 고소서도 차가지고 연도 시나 게리버 담들 대박과지 대박제는 소송거들이 나디 상도요래 록다 마도 록도 소도 단계상 사주 쓰는 거지 先恐怕是进了对吧？先我嘛是经济的，我去把的这里，我说了对吧了，你没啥的，这东西不有人吃。
So we have offered a mandala, and actually it said when you offer to a single sangam, then it is like making offerings to all the Buddhas of the 3 times. So when we make such offerings, then you should think that this sangha embodies, represents all the 3 jewels of the 3 times. And for example, now when you've made this offering to Rinpoche, said I'm wearing this hat also to represent this that I'm the representation now to represent the 3 jewels of the 3 times, and on your part you are seeing Rinpoche as this embodiment of the 3 jewels of the 3 times to whom you're making the offering. And in that way you receive the merit of having made offerings to all of the 3 jewels of the 3 times. So we need to within a single sangha, all the sangha are complete. All of the 3 jewels of the 3 times are complete. And if you always keep that in mind, then your faith in the sangha will increase even more. And when faith arises in the mind, then self-grasping is cleared away. Views are cleared away. Wrong views and misunderstandings or misconceptions and partial understandings, all of that is cleared away when faith arises. So that is the quality really of the precious bodhicitta ultimately. And when it is directed towards higher beings, then it becomes faith. And when it is directed towards sentient beings, then it becomes compassion. But the essence is the same. So when you have offered the mandala, and then in this way you're able to see the recipient of the mandala offering as the actual embodiment of the 3 jewels. And so think that this space before you, in the space before you appears in the center, principal Tara, surrounded by all the Buddhas of the 3 times, also appearing in Tara's form. And think that when you're repeating the supplications, that their blessings like rain fall down from the sky, and all sentient beings in the universe receive those blessings. In English, embodiment of omniscient wisdom, who utterly purifies the wheel of existence, compassionately grant me the empowerment, the exalted deity, today.
다 잠시 넥바 매게 소솔샤 로웨 게라 지 상제 상처 이기성 상제 추장 총초라 장척 바스 다잠치 랑시 돈이 랍점설 장척 샘느 끼발지 장척 초크 샘느 끼기네 샘기 탐지 나기 롱더닐 장척 쭉초 이옹 끼발지 로라 펜서 상제 르발쇼
I take refuge in the three jewels and confess all unvirtuous and harmful deeds. I rejoice in the virtues of beings and hold the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas dear to my heart until attaining enlightenment. I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly in order to fully accomplish the purpose of others and myself. I shall give rise to bodhicitta, having given rise to the Supreme Mind of enlightenment. I welcome all sentient beings. I will practice the supreme bodhisattva conduct that is pleasing to all. May I attain enlightenment for the benefit of all beings.
그런데 내가 공리 꼰초스나 잡수 송을 괜히 그래 답에 출랐더니 이 사족선 따이고 따치고지 막 시송 이 시송도 따는 새끼 탑재를 세와요 제 세와요 딱 완전 노드로 와지 이제 새끼 탑재를 세와요 이제 때렸더니 그래서 한 완전 노드로 와서요
So now we have taken refuge in the three jewels, and now having taken refuge in the three jewels, through the understanding the Dharma, I have now understood the preciousness of bodhicitta, and therefore I give rise to love for all sentient beings. If you think in this way, then you are a suitable vessel for receiving the empowerment, and with that you have established the actual foundation for the empowerment of the secret mantra.
로쁜 달라 파마 롤마 깔물 고송 덕제 기서 나와 쌀서 솔
Master, please think of me. Please bestow upon me the empowerment of body, speech, and mind of the Bhagavati, noble lady, White Tara.
다 셈이 탐질 세와요 사 갑들이들이 세와지만 오 셈지 탐질 동해들 남서기는 다 셈지 탐질 기바 다니 셈지 차로 좋아하는 게 이게 땀깔 보는 게 sonsa 그 땀딘 사가 제르고 고쪽을 땀역 사다 갖게 니는 야역 보이 예성고 땀 지가지 사이 소리들이 여기 땅지 오지들 로그 기반하게 딱발 공대 뒤뒤는 뭐 소소이 삼공대는 그 요에 이제 카드 좋아해 땅지 드리라고 그래서 보는 것들이 니만은 줘 이제 뭐 이제 뛰어가는 게 이제 공대 공부 요래 뭐 뛰어가지고 제가 랍랑 땅지 되고 땅도 우리 뛰어도 땅도 요래 이렇게 이 공부 요래
So you have developed a mind of love for all sentient beings. And so then from within that state of love for all beings, in an instant bring to mind all of the suffering of sentient beings. And then in that moment when compassion arises, the ice block is melting. And as it melts, in that moment, think that the mind comes and turns into a white, dumb syllable. And that for now is sufficient for the generation stage, for the visualization. We also have, for this reason, created this card, made this card that has the dumb syllable. It is in Chinese, English, and Tibetan. So if it is difficult to visualize the deity, the generation stage, it is sufficient to just visualize a white with light within your body. And then always keep that in mind. This is the life force of Tara. It is represented by the thumb. And now always think that this thumb syllable is within your body like a brilliant sun. And its nature is love. So whenever love arises, instantly remember the syllable dham. The syllable dham is Tara's mind of love.
그런 벌점에 땀 제시도 곰 이 지서들이 다 제 빠들이 이 빠들이 양도야 붙잖아들이 양도에 빠들라서 샤트벌이 소소티 샤트벌도 이제 빠들이 아니 이 빠들이 양도야 다 들이 먹던 이제 총총 샤트가 이제 체봉 총도 가질 때 세는 샤트벌이 뒤에다 다 카드들이 그러면 겨드다 보자 이 모든 사람들하고 야빨리 최고에서 양은 셋이 주체에 받더니 고를 들리지만 예야 내가 작을 들리면 필요 최고요 여기 카드 따지 보여요 해지
So now close your eyes and meditate single-pointedly on the syllable dham. Visualize the syllable dham. And at some point later, then Rinpoche will ask you to open your eyes. And at that time, in an instant, directly look at the image of Tara that you have received, the little card. And then repeat this again and again. It's actually very good to visualize the deity inside the rainbow sphere. If you visualize the rainbow sphere around the deity, it seems from personal experience also that it's easier to see the form of the deity. It easier appears in the mind. And that is why we created a card like that with Tara in the rainbow sphere. So then after that, repeat this again and again. So you look at the image and again you close your eyes and have this image appear in your mind. And at times the image that appears is very small and sometimes it increases in size and becomes large. But the point is, in whichever way it appears, the deity must appear within your mind. You should always hold the deity within your mind continuously. And that is why we have made this small card that you can bring with you wherever you go. For example, if you're driving in a car, you can place the card on the board of your car so that the picture attracts you through the windshield, through the window. And so in that way, if you always habituate to Tara and she always stays in your mind, and eventually you will never again forget about the deity. And at that time, then the benefits of deity practice really will become apparent. And so for this reason, this card is very precious.
라시 가도 거의 지난 바도 소화돼 반대. 로지 zemba 공서솔 나는 돌아 빈동서 조치 줄라 솔nep지 자제 이시 지서소
In English, Vajra holder,
Vajra holder,
please think of me.
please think of me.
I supplicate you,
I supplicate you,
exalted guide,
exalted God,
in order to benefit
in order to benefit
sentient beings.
sentient beings,
Please cause
please cause
the wisdom mudra
the wisdom mudra
to arise.
to arise.
엄마 베네 다다다 엄베 엄마 소바와저다 소바다 소바와저다 말이 되잖아 또 뭐가네 앞에 마가 보다 다베데 땀가 보여도 저번에 보마나 한번도 이동와 건도 뭐 예조기나 요 아바나도 막 또그 나왔다 셔도 가와 다다는 뭐지기나 또 뭐라든지 막 저쪽으로 뭐랑 또 지는 사제 탐지지 뭐다니지 뭐 사와죠 대도 사와가 온가 뭐네와 아마고 그러니까 홍보 대선에 어떤 사도 먼저 왜 있으면 저 여자들 뭐 저런 수도도 좀 봐도 마야다에서 봐라는 것도 소마야다 잖아 저요 뭐도 소마야다 잖아 마야다에서 잖아
So now open your eyes and directly look at the image and then repeat this again and again. Again, look at the image and close your eyes and have this image appear in, the image of Tara appear in your mind. So in this way, you should meditate.
소소가 슬라를 대받아 지와 지보는 들이 남도 때는 참이야래 제일 낫다 샷하고요. 그냥 저도 공주면은 그냥 이제라 샷하고요. 이제 강에 남도들이 체지 싸움 걸리들이 쳐다보고 다만 머리 샷하고 말이야. 양들이 싸움 따라들이 샷하고요. 차렸지. 슬라 무슨 샷하고요. 사들이는 사망을 안 되면 사동수도 뭐 소나 이제 이 무보다 심하게 이 원말에 야총다를 너무 야총다를 송을 되더라고 셈나 나도 생각 타면 봐 영화 다 보자 서로 또 이제 나가까운 제 총가에는 잘 이마대 가고 샤도 양자야도 되는 랑그 셋되면 온다 랑그 셋을 샤도 될 사람아서 예비 받차도 이마 이제는 리비드베들이 이마들 사탕시 예비 받고 두고 내려면 한번 생각하고 그래야지.
So if you feel a great faith and love for the day team, then all thinking will stop. And then very easily actually the day team can remain within your mind, appear within your mind. But then if you do not always practice the deity, if you do not always continuously habituate to the deity, then it will be difficult for the deity to instantly appear within your mind. And that is because, for the most part, we always think about the various activities, the affairs of this life. So there are many thoughts of attachment, aversion, and ignorance in our mind all the time. And for this reason, it is difficult for the deity to clearly appear in the mind. But if you habituate again and again and have the deity appear, then ordinary thoughts will stop, and as they stop, the deity will more clearly appear within your mind. And then that appearance of the deity within your mind is the actual deity. The nature of the deity is clearly appearing, but lacking any substantial nature. It is a clarity and emptiness. It is free of any substance. It has no substance, and it appears clearly and yet has no self-nature, just like a rainbow. It is said that Sambhogakaya is like a rainbow in the sky. And ultimately, the deity that appears is actually not separate from your own mind. So in the beginning, when we first practice the deity, it seems that the deity is outside of us, appearing in the sky before us, sometimes large, sometimes small. And as you habituate to visualizing the deity, you begin to realize that actually the deity is reflected within your own mind, and your mind is just like a mirror. So gradually, as you continue to habituate the deity, the practice of the visualization of the deity is always within your mind, then you realize that what appears is only appearing within your own mind. And finally, you realize that your mind and the deity actually are indivisible. So now think that in the space before you, the deities, the empowerment deities appear, and the empowerment deities they represent the essence and powers and all the blessings of all and the deities of all the Buddhas, and they manifest in the form of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, 5 Buddha families, Yap and Yum. And the 5 Buddha families represent the purified nature of the 5 afflictive emotions, the pure aspect of the 5 wisdoms. So when the impure 5 afflictions have ripened into the 5 wisdoms, they appear in the form of those Dhyani Buddhas. And so now the empowerment is conferred by the 5 female Buddhas who are holding empowerment vases in their hands and confer the empowerment, and then think that they actually emanate in myriad ways, in as many emanations as there are sentient beings in the entire universe, and they confer empowerment upon all sentient beings. So think that all sentient beings in the entire universe are receiving the empowerment together.
왕 거라도 제게 뭐나 가서 봐야 사제가 사성을 사제 그저 사선 내려서 와지 마서 나서 와다다 가다 베케가데 나서 마야 저래요 나서 와다다 가다 베케가데 소마야 저래요 나서 와다다 나 베케가데 소마야 저래요 나서 와다다 Abeke kade samaya kiraye, masawada. Abeke kade samaya kiraye, afeba wangore, dote chugyo samje kanga tama samje ta chaya lama kida jawale. Regeda mojawane nga waji wagalana amna rupoje sako sawonje ojoto wagala yo hadaji ba chiraga ba ba na me tabe me ba zo ke titi 일단다 원거지 사자 적당 뒤에做了熊了，这大伙儿也得这，大我们那里熊了，这个咋，让瓜，这炒了炒，把不把他们这里炒给我妈这咋上别说，就这道炕了这里，这就是有个，那我看这是一个就炕，杀了这里有吃浪费吧这里，如果这里送空了有茶送的，这个嘞如果怕没哇抢，这点嘞，这浪子这点不可能叫送上。
So then, here think that the empowerment blessing nectar then enters into the crowns of all beings, into your own crown too. And first it enters into the central channel, and then as it flows down, it pervades the 4 chakras, and then pervades further into all of the channels within your body. First the more coarse channels, and then the subtle channels, until the nectar reaches each and every pore on your skin. So then finally your entire body and all your channels are pervaded by the empowerment nectar. And then having pervaded your entire body, the nectar then leaves your body through your pores and merges with the outer space. And in that way then this delineation between outer and inner disappears. First your body becomes like a cotton cloth, like a cotton cloth that is where the nectar goes through each and every pore. And then gradually as this delineation of outer and inner disappears, then also your entire body has disappeared. And then in an instant, think that you arise in the form of Tara.
수보상보 장미가가 부방하면서 말하는 일이 또 왕거래 그러면 대도 왕거래 왕 빠지장 토고요래 나빠라 그 살았다 냠드스니 연구요래 그 파티라 저기는 왕 톱들이 몇 발이 되는데 동문에도 토크요.
And later, when you receive the blessing nectar, you can drink half of it, and the other half you can place it onto your crown. And that actually is not for the sake of like interdependence, of auspiciousness, but then actually the deities and their blessings abide the entire, pervade the entire space. And what that is to say is that even if you are not physically present, for example, if you're receiving the empowerment over the live stream, for example, or over TV and so on, then still you can receive the empowerment through the visualization. So you can visualize that those empowerment goddesses holding vases appear above the crowns of all beings and yourself as you're receiving the empowerment. And you're actually receiving the empowerment in the same way as anybody else here, because the blessings and the deities pervade the entire universe and all sentient beings. And so therefore, even if you're not physically here and you receive the empowerment through the live stream, through such a visualization, you are actually receiving the empowerment.
그런 조광 와서 저러고나 이제 좀 공부 좀 봐봐. 사실 빼만 좀 담배 지금 내는 이제 내가 다시 또 다시 그런 또 그래서 됐다 이선 나에 위에 보내서 봐. 그만 받쳐서 뒤다 제발 다. 그 이선 나와 말이 더 류라이 나도 소득을 받고 봐라 왕
Being thus initiated, all physical obscurations and the karmic imprints and fixations related to the body are purified, and you have received the complete form empowerment. You are now empowered to visualize your body as the deity, the union of appearance and emptiness. As a result, you will have the fortune to accomplish the Nirmanakaya.
리지고는 몇 왔다 봤다 그 제대로 되는 장화 수고 로염 마진이 받더라서 하는데 리지고는 사고래 tanke 말 사고 장기 진짜도 동체묘 제가 중요한 거 실례들이 말 사고 장시 동제 말 유치 동제 들들 와서 또다 하고 요래 들려 조금 가봐지는 세바에는 르라이 계는지 나동데 다 플라스에서 잡았지. 다 우리 라티레. 나는 좀더 도마타를 포도요래. 산이들이 생코라들이 플라이걸 샤와들이 타고질이 되잖아. 녹독도 요래나. 이렇게 끼는데 매나 다다 이용한 길을 내당 이용하고 들 마땅도 돌아서 봐. 박차고 하는 소리들이 마다버지를 예르더니 다디다 이용하고 요기들이 담아봐. 다르고 이렇게 라 닦고 줄이지. 내가 라이브를 닦고 봐야 돼. 그리고 이 차로 올라서 봐서 이제 닦고 틀봐요. 되거든요. 닦고 줄이는 거 탑을
So it's, here we have said that the karmic imprints of the body are being purified here, and so that is now through the visualization, the generation stage, through visualizing the form of the deity, we purify these negativities accumulated with the body. The three non-virtuous actions of the body mainly, that is stealing, killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. And also, so all of these actions that have previously been committed are being purified, and for the future they are restrained from further arising. So what that means is that we have now understood the fault in these negative actions, so there is a sense of remorse, we feel regret, and then also a commitment to not again repeat those actions in the future. So that is how we think during this form empowerment. And then it says, as a result, you will have the fortune of accomplishing the Nirmanakaya. And so now with your body, you're visualizing the form of the deity, the generation stage. And that form is appearing yet empty, appearing clearly in your mind, but empty of any substance. And that appearance in your mind is the actual deity. And in fact, your ordinary body is actually false, is unreal, because the ordinary body will perish. And later, after you have died, then if the deity remains within your mind, then after you have died, you can enter into the pure illusory body of the deity through the power of having habituated to the generation stage before. If you do not have the generation stage, the visualization of the deity, then later after death you will lack any autonomy and you will become controlled by the karmic forces and your afflictive emotions. And then without any control over it, take birth in the form of an impure illusory body, such as an animal or a human, for example. And then you become ordinary, and that is due to being controlled by self-grasping and afflictive emotions. And so if you practice the Yidam deity, the visualization of the deity, and you recollect the purity, that is the pure meaning of the deity's appearance, the color and ornaments and so on, then later you can attain, you will enter or can attain the pure illusory body of the deity.
레버 트럭트버 가바치도 세바이 나오소 다소 레버도 계시버리 데 가레스를 맞다 트럭트 손디나 오 서로 사족 성지에서 왜 다다 다포는 기내에서 뭐는 이제 빌도 말이 난 샘지들이 사족 생각보다 운을 좀 성지나 라라 페바 기나 데와 들이 동트럭트 바들이 라게 추고 추주디 강 지나들이 라지저 페바다 데와 덕터베들이 구스도 거래스 사족성면은 차통보로 되네요. 조금 말에 조금 좀 맞춰야 돼요. 사족성면은 되게 정말 첨나 요구하나 첨나 요구 개롱송 되게 동문에 되더니 망심 좋지고 이베들이 다다 사족은 도와서 첨나 데 바탕에 사족성은 되게 동답을 개롱이서 되로서 줄 것이 봐야 낭 사족성이 말아 서다다 담아서 나와요 봐. 대성고
And so the fruition, the result is to accomplish the Nirmanakaya. And so the ultimate fruition is very important. So how is it that I will rise as the Nirmanakaya? It is when in your mind bodhicitta arises, then if your outer form is male, then you really are Chenrezig. And if you're female, then you're Tara. But what is important is the inner mind. And if within the mind there is bodhicitta, you are an actual Nirmanakaya. And if there is bodhicitta, then just naturally you will accomplish your own benefits and the happiness of others. Then whatever you do in either the world or in the Dharma, whatever you do naturally becomes the benefit and happiness of self and others. And then you really are a Nirmanakaya. If you do not have bodhicitta in your mind, then even if you're sitting on a high throne, for example, you're still not a real Turku or Nirmanakaya. It is not. It is like a fake Nirmanakaya. It is said that actually even a householder, a lay person, ordinary person, can be like a gelong, like a monk, an ultimate monk in that sense. Because the mind is most important. In the Dashabhumi Sutra, it is said that a householder with bodhicitta is the ultimate bhikshu, like the gelong, or like a monk. And so what really makes one a Nirmanakaya or a Durko actually is a bodhicitta, and not the outer ordinary form.
도지 zemba gong so so dane 罗拉平东的马吉万棍一系切木质德瓦达拉佐。
Vajra holder, please think of me in order to benefit sentient beings. Please grant the empowerment of great mantra, wisdom, which is the source of all accomplishments.
20倍是下高的了，到这个工作不要的，那就一来下高了的，这里，哪里多了品种都要说这里，家庭生病的品种都生病的品种主要的，哪的把这弄到都把天空不去的，生病的品种是，我就往过一些也从的，我得把这我们定了这里的到哪。 sau gồm ba thế thế mà ta tạo ra của nó thì ngã cái đồ bộ rồi để sao thì bút rút ra thì sao bút sinh rắm nó ngã thì nó có chuyện chứ không phải rất tập trung mà thế thì ngã thì yang để sao thì xem một tí ngã thì làm cái để làm cái quan là thế sao thì ngã cái nàyอยู่ที่sao biết xong cái rồi để là thế kia là sau kia là thế ngã là bài dễ như bài như đó được gì 그러니까 이제 따고 우리 마서봐 유대 이제선 거요 소소소소 좋아 이 많이 많으시 니들 이라 이제 동화 작가라지래 진짜 뭔마고 따고 왔지 slaat musse sen ja me va mata daar voor de dingen meneer slaat ja me va er sem slaat de tema zitten salula de zum schon da ma hat to mo gut de wat de slaat musse do ma de in do go eso de gut trava tala so ma do ko yishi ma de jonna de jonna ma de tala kami सरदारों की ये तो पामे वा डाल के लिए छाता को तो पामा वो तेल योरे मां को डाल दे से फाता रो पर के हमारे पर छेदी छाता को तो ता खाली गाड़ के वो के वो सब कामी को के वो बोले ते सब छोड़ा योरे मां दे से फाता मा तो पक्षा तो की फाता मा तो पर लाखों de da तो जो हां पे वो सब तो मा मुझे जो योरे ती तो दा ते 마디 와고 이시체도 이시양을 이시도 semzāma tātō kwa ishi yidīwe bā dāzi bā chātō ki pā tāsōng tātō ku sem isi bēbī ishi tōp kīrō rē mā dāja tāchi bōri mā tēnsō ku rē chē.
So we have said here the Vajra holder. The Vajra holder is the Vajra master, and the Vajra holder is the one who has understood the non-duality. It is the one who has understood or realized non-dual primordial wisdom. And then, in order to benefit sentient beings, we always repeat that throughout the empowerment. In order to benefit sentient beings, So we say this again and again, we repeat this in order to turn away from this concept of an I, of a self. So in order to turn away from self-grasping, we say, may I be of benefit to sentient beings. And then it says we have said the empowerment of the great mantra, wisdom. And so it is the mantra the mantra recitation leads to a lot of qualities. So we recite the mantra while we visualize the form of the deity with clarity. So we visualize the clear form of the deity and we recollect purity. We develop a confidence of being the deity while we are reciting the mantra. And then the mantra is said to be the source of all accomplishments, of all deities. And that is also significant because we will not accomplish the deity only through age, but it is also necessary to recite the mantra. So the deity is really accomplished through the mantra recitation. Through the mantra recitation, the siddhi is attained. So we recite a certain number of mantras for a long time, and in the meantime, while we recite the mantra, we visualize the deity, also knowing the qualities of the deity and of the mantra. And finally, according to the new tantric system, there are 4 classes of tantra, and it each has their different rituals. And according to the old tantric tradition, there are the 4 branches of approach and accomplishment. Moving through those 4 branches, finally one accomplishes the deity. And so in the secret mantra, one is prescribed to recite a certain number of mantras, hundreds and thousands of mantras of a deity. And the purpose of that is that when you recite the mantra that many times, eventually you will never forget about the deity. It always remains within your mind. So basically, we really need to recite the deity mantra until it never leaves your mind. And that is when you really accomplish the deity. It is when the deity never again leaves your mind. And so then first, as a result of accomplishing the deity, first on the outer level, you may manifest various common siddhis, like various miraculous powers and so on. And then the ultimate siddhi of accomplishing, realizing this non-dual primordial wisdom. And so in brief, in order to accomplish the deity, we need to recite the mantra. And so here this term, the great mantra wisdom, this term wisdom, is that when you always recite the mantra continuously, then through the mantra recitation gradually you will release the fixation to the sound that you hear. So you will release the grasping at the truth of whatever sounds appear. Because ordinarily we develop a lot of thoughts of attachment and aversion depending on the sounds that we hear. And the mantra, on the other hand, actually purifies, the sound of the mantra is what purifies these ordinary imprints that we have with regard to sound or the words that we hear. For that reason, we are reciting the mantra, because ordinarily, when you hear ordinary conversation, and it triggers all kinds of thoughts of attachment and aversion. And sometimes then when you think about something pleasant, you're smiling, and the next moment you remember something terrible and you start crying. So these thoughts trigger feelings, and then we feel either happy and sad without any control over our feelings. And so when we recite the mantra, the sound of the mantra clears away these ordinary imprints of speech. And actually also spinning a prayer wheel has the same benefits. It also purifies the mind of these imprints. So that is what is meant here with the wisdom, the mantra wisdom, the wisdom arising from the mantra. It is the wisdom mind that does not grasp at the sound that is perceived. And in that way, the mind becomes purified. And the ultimate and pure state of the mind is what we call this primordial wisdom. It is the state that is completely free of all dualistic grasping. So when all dual imprints have become purified, you realize the natural state that is non-dual primordial wisdom.
남그라 삼천이 진행하 그 저장 기바 저바 바바나 진이 그 삼천을 봐 저 저기 하거나 다이 봐도 저기 마다니 뭐도 저 땅에 공기 차고 요래 자탐지 가리서나 되는 절도고 요래 Tene chapa papa na ni ba tene soto ma jidu si lopo kami tene soto ke om tare tu tare tene soha te tam ke ta tene tene nu je tene ta to song sa tene te jata daya tare tu tare tene soha te goma si jata ba jata je ke ni ba pati chipare tare tu tare tene soha tene yang re la chinga yo re Roma kami bari ta mama ai jala pine poto poto swati ena tiri ta so lo chen ta ma che tang so nam yi shi mama jena ngarang ayo jena che so na diana jena hirat chebo pune so nam chebo che tang yi shi so nam pa de me pa ti ta ma bo go chi chi de 당소 당지죠. 10대5요. 당한테 동로들이 되다. 마 다나 양들이 딸이 소화된 범거지 했더니 마마 아이잖아. 샴푸들이 범죄자 되는 그 요래. 이 동물들이 집지로만 저밖에 제제 마 제리 딸이 소화되나 집지로만 접수한테 채당 소나 이시랑지는 접이고 요래. 그래서 지와야 되는데 마 집지로만 접수게 지와로 이 소소데 루가 있어 집지로 그런 밀라 채당 소나 이시탕지랑 이동이랑지는 접고 요래. 애들이 제파테리 다디나 마지 파테 요래 아티티컬 마 로포카비 소지들이 선 카페를 지는 남그 여자들이 속았으나 다 톱송사 들들들 다음부터 달라다리 기다리더니 소화 대대 요 상태 코고요사 공부했지.
And so then for the visualization, I think that from in the space before you are the deities, and from them then a rain shower of mantra syllables that all give off the sound of the mantra fall down and permeate the entire universe and all beings. And then think that the entire universe and all beings reverberate with the sound of the mantra. And so for the visualization then, also later when you recite the mantra, so you have received the mantra when you repeat the mantra, and then later when you recite the mantra, actually by chanting the mantra in a pleasant melody, it also becomes easier then to habituate to the mantra. And then all sound can become transformed into the sound of the mantra. So now visualize in this way that the mantra syllables fall down like raindrops as you repeat the mantra. And while you repeat the mantra, think that you are receiving the Tara's main mantra, those 8 syllables, that is Om Tara Tu Tara Tura Soha. So think that these syllables then come to circle around the Dham syllable. So then you have received the mantra garland and it remains around the Dham syllable at all times and it circles there. And then continue to recite the Tara mantra. And so Tara actually, there are 108 different names. Tara has 108 different names. So each Tara has also her own mantra. For example, White Tara has her own mantra. But they all really are included within that main essence mantra, Om Tara Tu Tara Tura Soha. The White Tara mantra has some extra syllables. So it is Om Tara Tu Tara Tura Mama Ayon Gyana Punya Potim Guru Soha. Mama means I. Ayo means longevity. Gyana means wisdom. And Punya means merit. And basically we are saying that please grant me a lot of that. Grant me inconceivable longevity, merit, and wisdom. So actually it is just because we are still grasping at a self, and if we think in this way, it like puts our mind at ease. If we think, oh, now I have received that, I have received longevity, wisdom, and merit. But in fact, if you only would recite the short mantra all of that would naturally be accomplished. So therefore, now, even if you practice White Tara, it is said that for the numbers of mantras to be accumulated, you can accumulate 900,000 of the shorter mantra, and then in the end, 100,000 of the White Tara mantra. And so then in that way you accomplish also White Tara. Actually, you accomplish by practicing the short Tara mantra. If Tara is accomplished, then naturally also longevity and merit and wisdom are accomplished just naturally. When your body, speech, and mind ripen into Tara and you become Tara, then these qualities are actually naturally accomplished. But now temporarily, there are different mantras, the longer mantra and the shorter mantra. And so now visualize as before, we will repeat the mantra 3 times. So think that from the sky, mantra syllables descend down, all reverberating with the sound of the mantra. And think that you have then received the mantra which begins to circle around the Dham syllable at your heart.
Om Tare, Tu Tare, Ture Soha, Om Tare, Tu Tare, Ture Soha, Om Tare, Tu Tare, Ture Soha, Om Tare, Tu Tare, Ture Mama Ayaja. Pune Pusangoro So Om Tare Le Mama Ayajana Pune Pusangoro So Om Tare Le Mama Ayajana Pune Pusangoro So Chomdi Dagi Zong La Chi Da La Nye War Ze To So
Conqueror, as I have become your follower, please take me under your care.
Chomdi Dala Komande So Haji Water Tane Jang To Jumti Bote Chale To Mante So Masundati Sande So Di Yevati Ben Chora Mayo Jiti Sona Tachi Sata Mejo Ba Shuje Saba Jebe Nana Josip Dili Jiti Gava Tashi Ba Tashi Photo To Poe To Dele Jisa Name Haga Goni Sapo Tama Pacha the Dita Jiba Ta Songi Jisa Nama Mariba Top Laya Sama Tatung Sugar Matawa One
Being thus initiated, all verbal obscurations and the karmic imprint related to speech are purified, and you have received the complete speech empowerment. You are now empowered to recite the deity's secret mantra, the union of sound and emptiness. As a result, you will have the fortune to accomplish the Sambhogakaya.
ngāka pākṣā kārē ngāka pākṣā dhāra tīne, tā jīga tīne dzū chāma, lāpa tī chāma tā kōkṣū rāsō pā, tī tāmchī jīwa kāni, chūng tīne tīne sēnu tsōgā chēpo jīga yōre, ngāka tīpa tīre tī pā, tī sāna tīne tī, hācāng tīne jī sāchū tsōpa rā kōpa tāpa tī lā sōpa, tāmchī tīne ngāka chūng māngu tī, tsēkila tīne sēnu hācāng tsōgā chēpo jīga yōre, tī tsōgā tī chūngi pā hā kōna, 오, 그 덴발 맞지와다 책 맞지바 그 기서 맞아와 책을 맞지바 다 작동지나 니바 매니바 가르치나 딜라리 소디마나 소바타 기바양 도바지 매니바 도바지 제바 말이 거서 제베 제도 맞지바 다른 맞지바 될 때시게 나도 파타 다르지네 파시면 좋아 라그 니바 맞죠 동체의 시제 동생티 나도 담책때 다른 잡아내 봤지 기체 보여래.
As you have said, all the obscurations of speech accumulated with this are being purified. And so that is the negative actions we have done with speech. That is, telling lies, harsh speech, idle talk, and slander, or divisive speech. And so again, we are purifying all of these negative deeds that we have committed in the past throughout all our lifetimes. And now we recognize the fault in these deeds, and therefore we restrain ourselves from committing them again in the future. So it is important to have a commitment in your mind that in the future I will not again repeat those actions. And so now it is due to sound that we grasp the truth of the sounds that we hear. So through the mantra, we realize the empty nature of the sound, and seeing the empty nature of the sound, we do not hold sound that we hear to be true. Ordinarily, we follow whatever words we hear. Especially the words that we perceive lead to a lot of thoughts of attachment and aversion. And now what does it mean to purify imprints of the speech? It mainly really has to do with the words that we follow. We follow words, and we engage in negative speech that triggers many feelings. So especially slander, divisive speech that stirs up problems between people. It begins with a very small feeling, like a small fixation to a certain idea, and that turns into a very powerful feeling. And that feeling then is what causes the obscuration. So that is an obscuration caused by grasping at speech. And so especially, for example, denigrating bodhisattva and so forth, all of that leads to heavy obscurations related to speech. So the obscuration is formed because we follow words. We fixate on the truth of those words, and because of that, this fixation leads to a very strong feeling in our mind. And that feeling must be recognized as not true, and it is not actually real. So therefore, we must recognize the fault within that feeling, and not believe in the reality of it. And so, not grasping at sound, not grasping at the words that we hear, is what we then call the empty nature of sound. Actually, the nature of sound is empty. Also in the 37 practices, it says it is all empty. Pleasant sound, pleasant words are empty, and unpleasant sounds are also empty. They are empty as in they do not really actually exist. They are untrue. And because they do not really actually exist, there is no point in holding on to these various words and sounds that we hear. And if you do not grasp at sound, you're purifying the imprints of the ordinary imprints of speech. And then when there's no grasping at sound, then no sound can cause any more obstacles. Sound cannot affect you in any way any longer. And so for that, it is also necessary to commit to, again, repeat similar actions. So to restrain these fixations from arising in the future. So the essence is, it is most important to not hold on to whatever sound you hear.
박차 전지 뒤측성 대사고사고 동다 카카카가 고고래 주마지나 샘소와 접문조래 그런게 박차지나 잡소래 당을심 막주부소라 당을심 주부소래 착버심 차당이 가들이 패는 거요래 배와지 뒤 박차를 거요래 주마 박차지 이 박차지 손에 진짜 진기로 진지나 코토보리지 코다오리지 또 양들이 제들이 사축랑 받치 치분이 저러고요래 나니 밤이 봐이래 매는 거서 라리 소디만 나가서 뭐 대는지 대통령들이 하고 달았더니 되게 통지 미타바래서 또 봐지래 뭐지봐 대 맞을 때 생각들이 박차야 딱 그요래 세계와 탐지를 동네가 주주고요래 마서과 장시 동지 정말 박차 전지석이 소화가를 가가 하고네 드리드라 왕을티 하고요래 대가서 뭐요래
So there were three terms here. That is, there is the stains, there is the karmic imprints, and the grasping. So it's important to really discern between them. So the stains here is that it is the obscuration. And the obscuration occurs when it occurs through the feeling that is generated. So a certain word leads to a certain feeling in the mind, and that feeling causes the obscuration. So the mind becomes obscured. And when the mind becomes obscured, we continue to do that. So we are forming habitual imprints. Then, for example, just naturally out of habit, we have an aversion against anything that doesn't agree with us. And then we become attached to anything that does agree with us. So attachment and aversion proliferate in the mind. And then this constant proliferation is what we refer to as karmic imprints, or habitual imprints. The habitual imprint is this continuous grasping, grasping of following like similar patterns within the mind. For example, you label people, this is a friend and this is an enemy. And then you keep doing this again and again, so you form a habit. And that really actually constitutes a very heavy obstacle on your path to enlightenment. Because actually, also as it is said in the 37 practices, who is a friend and who is an enemy is actually really uncertain. And so through the sound of the mantra, we recognize the empty nature of all sound. That all sound is by nature impermanent and it doesn't really exist. And if you do not grasp at whatever sound you hear, then you also will not form those habitual imprints. So the imprints are being purified. And then in future lives, from lifetime to lifetime, you have cut through the causes of further suffering. And so that actually you mainly do by restraining yourself through the commitment of not again repeating this action. And so during the empowerment, it is very important to really understand the difference between those terms.
다리 공이 닭버줄 마다버줄 이 제발 삼삼들인 체로 소소도 보시라 닭버줄로 니디메 답시 닭발해야지 마다버줄을 이속매네 차당 똑바 요배들이 마다버줄을 정말 박차들 진짜 제발 요라 이 마다버줄을 정말 박차들 제발 다들 닭버줄을 그래서 오 고토비오래지 대원이 차당인지 똑바 양지세 다조래 소소도 뭐 싫어도 되네. 제가 진짜로 로주도 먹고 다고지를 토박가 받기도 세바에 넣어서
And so this is really where the difference between the pure and the impure illusory body comes in. We understand it through the individually discriminating wisdom. So the pure illusory body has realized non-duality and therefore sees everything as pure. And the impure illusory body, even if there is no substantial body, there still are thoughts of attachment and aversion, ignorance. There still are obscurations, habitual patterns, and fixations, grasping in the mind. Grasping at the reality of these patterns and feelings arising. And from that perspective, all appears in an impure way. So it is the impure illusory body. So that is important to very clearly understand in this context. And so it is through this wisdom, this individually discriminating wisdom, that these habitual patterns of attachment and aversion are being purified. And as a result, it says you have the fortune to accomplish the Sambhogakaya. So as a result of having purified all these fixations and habitual patterns, you will accomplish the pure illusory body, the form of the deity and the various pure lands of the deity.
그냥 특별 질란 것도 소화되만데 이제 도지 전바 공서솔 다네 로라 페이동的바오 도지 롭지 롬초 등등
English. Vajra holder, please think of me in order to benefit sentient beings, courageous, Vajra master, please cause the samadhi of the Supreme Mind to arise. So now we will do a brief meditation, and at that time do not pursue any thoughts of past, present, or future, and only sustain clear awareness.
다시 보도 노부에 되는데 대다 지선 나외 이제 권에서 보통 파차들 지도 봐 토기 지선 나마 말이 봐도 샘플라이 토기라는 사통 누구를 먹어 봐라 와 내가 죽고도 볼까 봐지도 세바야 노서.
Being thus initiated, all mental obscurations and the karmic imprints and fixations related to mind are purified, and you have received the complete mind empowerment. You are now empowered to meditate on the nature of the deity's mind, the union of clarity and emptiness. As a result, you will have the fortune to accomplish the Dharmakaya.
샘플라이 토기 사통 누구 죽고도 봐봐야 다다다 라면 샘니록데 사비 오만디라트리 나도 당제다가 샘대가라트리 예비는 것도 예비바래 드리테라 사자집에 돈하고 어찌발에 각각만 보시오 드리테테 와서 탐색에서 와서 탐색에서 와더니 탐색다 대신 좀 하나 요다야 나딘 나 유모베트를 듣고 요래 대들이 또 오늘 게 사족체에 사족체도 잡아 성상 되더라 라고 이렇게 뭐랬지.
So for the mind empowerment, we recognize the mind that is clear and empty awareness and free of all thoughts, free of all thinking. And that mind itself is Taram, is indivisible from Taram. Or also that is the essence of Mahamudra that we also mentioned the other day extensively. And then in the end, the life force of the empowerment is to keep the Samaya. And now for the Samaya, even though we possess Buddha nature, it is obscured by self-grasping and the afflictive emotions. So the actual Samaya is really bodhicitta. So now we will repeat the Samaya, and at that time, please think that I will keep this Samaya of never separating from bodhicitta.
다다왕 양 마크그레 수시감도 지지서 사막을 도망가면 힘바 양보를 도망가면 힘바 양 그리고 주차를 펼쳐고 상급 스토어를 보지 저기 인지톤이 내 곳을 설계도 제
we don't have so much time, so Rinpoche will come to give the empowerment. And in the meantime, we will recite or chant together the White Tara mantra. After you have received the empowerment, you are free to leave. But first, for the Samaya, we will read together the prayer of Bodhicitta, which is on page 9 in that prayer book, on page 9. On the bottom. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn may it arise, where it is born may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. Also, if you're interested in practicing White Tara, there is a White Tara sadhana available for free for anyone who is interested. You can receive it in the back.
Đi mua đeo tụi bọn lên thảo mà. I didn't get one. The other side.